Hello everyone, I am your today's host Yash Padar. First of all, thank you for joining this webinar. I hope everyone is doing fine in this pandemic. Talking about this pandemic, everyone is using internet extensively from the devices such as computer, mobile phones, tablets, laptops, etc. So it is important for us to get known about the cybersecurity and its threats. So we are providing the whole new webinar for you guys. This whole new webinar is regarding the career in the cybersecurity. I hope you will all enjoy it. Our today's guest is Mr. Aniket Amdekar. He is an alumni of our college VIIT. He is experienced in threat hunting. He has also done specialization in e-commerce security. He is also good keynote speaker. I am damn sure after going through this webinar, your all doubts regarding cybersecurity will be covered. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and share. From now on, Mr. Aniket Ambedkar will continue. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So, hi all, good afternoon. My name is Aniket and I am one of the alumni from VIIT. So, if I go back to the year 2003, I remember me and my father traveling all the way from Yavatmal to Pune. And we were walking from Kondwa Budruk in small little lanes and gullies. And after walking for about 10 minutes, we reached somewhere. It looked like a construction place right now at that point. And when we looked at it, there were 3 buildings under construction. There was one building that was completed, and that's where there were some students. You may have imagined what I'm talking about. I'm talking about VIIT back in 2003, when it was at a very initial stage. The first batch was just starting. And those were different days. Those were the days when the college was finding its feet. Those were the days when everything was being set up. And today, as we are here, 17 years later, where VIIT has now become a brand. And each and every one of you who has joined today, if you are from VIIT, you have a very good brand on your CV already. And as I talk to you here, so I would like to speak with you about the careers in cybersecurity. So cybersecurity is a booming field. You may have come across a lot of breaches happening, Aadhaar cards leaking out, credit cards leaking out, Zoom, which we are using today, being blamed and being pointing fingers at because they are not very secure, because they had some flaws in their security. So as you can see the theme here, as everyone is locked down and is at home, cybersecurity is at its peak of importance. That's why, my friends, when you are at the very important juncture of your career, you are studying in your college right now, but as you graduate from the college and as you step into the wild, wild world of professional careers, at that time, the most important thing that you will have is clarity. Clarity as to what do you really want to do. Because, you may have met some of your friends, you may have seen that yourself as well sometimes, where you'll find somebody who has just completed engineering. And when you ask them, so what do you want to do next? I don't know. Maybe I'll do MBA. I don't know. Maybe I'll do coding. And after doing coding or maybe being a developer, no offense against coding, being a developer for 2 years, then they say that, you know what, I like testing. And then they do a course in testing. And 3 years later, then they feel that, you know what, I want to do project management. And again, 5 years later down the line, you will find them doing something else. So you can see the theme happening here. The theme is lack of clarity. If you are clear as to what you want to do in your career, because today it's not about me. Today it's not about what I'm going to show you the slides as well. It's not about any of that. It's all about clarity. So are we clear on that? So my friends, let's start with the question. What, according to you, is cybersecurity? You can put your answers in the chat box right away. According to you, what is cybersecurity? You may have seen some of those fancy hackers in your TV shows, or you may have seen them in the movies as well. So many Hollywood movies, and everyone has done the one good thing. They have glorified hackers. Somebody who will type really fast on a computer, enter and say, I'm in. So that's not cybersecurity. That's one small aspect of it. So can I have some responses in the chat? See, because this is an audience which is filled with enthusiasm. So that enthusiasm should come in from the chat as well. So protection of computer systems, says Dr. Vijay. Thank you. Anyone else? What is cybersecurity according to you? Stopping someone from breaking the firewall. Yes. Cybersecurity is securing devices, securing the data from attackers, says Ayushi. Okay. Finding and patching the network. Omkar says it's about protecting, which is a bigger term, but yes, true. All right, cool. So my friends, you know what? In the world of cybersecurity, there are two kinds of mindset. The first mindset is the offensive mindset, and the second mindset is the defensive mindset. And whenever you are looking at any role or any profile in the cybersecurity world, that's going to be one of these two, which means if you are going to be a penetration tester who's trying to find the flaws in the network or find the flaws in the software, that is an offensive mindset. Or if you are somebody who sets up firewalls, you are somebody who is into secure coding, you are somebody who is very good in architecture and understanding the bigger picture of a network, you are in the defensive mindset. And in the end, cybersecurity is all about CIA. And I'm not talking about the three letters acronym of from the USA, who governs and monitors many things across the borders. I'm talking about the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of our data, our network, our users, and most importantly, the brand that you're protecting. You may have seen the case study of Zomato. Zomato had really built in their network so well. I mean, they were starting to become the brand when it comes to the delivery of the food or finding restaurants or doing reviews as well. I myself am a level 8 reviewer on Zomato. However, one fine morning, there was a news that Zomato was breached and some thousands and thousands of credentials were leaked. So the years that they spent in creating that brand value, that could be tarnished just like this in a moment if the network is not secure. That's why security is very, very important. Okay, so one more answer I got from Kunal Patel. He says, according to me, cybersecurity is protecting data from the other user, and to access that data, you need user ID and password. Okay, that's a very it's the beginning of a definition, I would say. So yes, what we are protecting in cybersecurity is the data. We are protecting the network. We are protecting the integrity of that data as well. Not just the data, the integrity of the data. Imagine your mark sheets that have been saved in the University of Pune. Someone logs in and changes your marks from 90 to 45. Changes your marks from 45 to 90. Breach of integrity right there. So which is why this data that everyone trusts, we need to ensure that the data is secure. With that, let me jump into my slide deck so that I can show you some of the things as well. So as you can see, cybersecurity has, it's just one of the doors. When you are in your professional journey, you have to choose which door will you enter through. And depending on that choice, Sarthak has raised his hand. Yes, Sarthak, you can put your question in the chat. So as per you, which door will you choose? And for that, I think I have a poll here. So, so are we ready with the poll?
Yes, we are ready with the poll.
Okay, let's roll out the poll. There's a poll coming on your screen. And the poll is, have you decided which field you want to grow as a professional? Okay, the answers are pouring in. It's the 60-40 so far. and I'll tell you which side it bends. And still 67-33, 67% of you know which field you want to go in. And still there's a good 16 people, 33% of the audience who has voted. They have said that they don't know in which direction that they want to grow. Okay. So, all right. So with that, poll results are still coming in. What do you have in information security career? So this is the batch of 2007. And you can see there are so many of my friends in this batch. All of us were just beginning to identify where we want to do, where we want to go. And we all face the same question that you are facing on your screen right now. Which field do you want to grow as a professional? Some of us were already placed. Some of us were not. Whoever was placed, now it was the company who was deciding what do you work on, because you are so new, you're fresher. And as a fresher, if you get a project into, let's say, project management, or you get a project into coding or software quality, that's where you start, and you start your career, and that's where you grow. However, if you were given a choice, where would you go? And I think 67% of the audience has said that you have already decided where you want to go, and 33% are still identifying. Now this batch, why is this batch important? Because if I look at this batch, every one of the students that you can see here, they had their own talents. They had their own specialities. And you know, how did we come to know that? We came to know that through projects. So you guys must be working on your projects as well. You guys must be working on your assignments as well, because your niche shows up from your work. If you are really inclined towards networking, you will find that networking, that subject, you will read that book over and over again. Whenever there is any practical happening, you would be there. A lot of us, there was a question in the chat. Yes. So there are so many projects that you are all working on, and how you work on that projects define how you are as a professional in making. At the moment, if I speak, each of the faces that you see here is successful in their careers. They're all doing great in whichever field they have chosen. And each of these faces have gone through a transition phase where they're finding out what to do. But if there is one person that I can figure out, or that I can point out, who influenced my tilt towards networking, that's the person in the orange shirt, Pathak sir. So I'm not sure if Pathak sir is in the audience today. If he is, that will be really, really great. But back in the days when we were sitting in the classrooms in the same building behind you, and we were listening to him explaining networking to us, I really got connected with that topic and with him. And through that, as he used to share his experiences, we used to imagine the world with those words. And even after the college ended and I joined my company, I was still looking at some direction from him. And I think every one of us has that professor with you. If you have a professor who has really influenced you, then please put yes in the audience, in the chat. To put the name or not is up to you. I will leave that to you. However, if there is a professor from VIIT who has influenced you deeply, please put a yes in the chat window. And do you know why is that important? Because that influence is really, really important when you step into the professional world. Oh, we are getting some responses in the chat already. Great. Yes. And these influences are also helping you to decide whenever you are at a crossroad and you have to choose between two roads, what would Pathak sir do? I would think that would help me to make some other decisions as well. All right, so now let's get into security. You've already spoken about what is cybersecurity. But when you are getting into the field of cybersecurity, I believe there are three golden questions that you need to answer. And these three questions are valid for every field, not just cybersecurity. And that first, why us? That means why the field? Why cybersecurity is so passionate to you? Do you like, so here is the thing. I have a philosophy, and that philosophy is drawn from Hanuman Chalisa. And that philosophy is, and you may have heard this verse from Hanuman Chalisa, Sankat te Hanuman chudave, man kram bachan dhyan jo lave. You may have seen this or heard about this verse. What it means is, whatever goal that you have, if you put your man, your kram and your bachan through it, then you can achieve it. So which means if you want to get into cybersecurity as a field, you should be keeping to think about it. You should keeping to work about it, work on it. And as you start to think about it, as you work on it, then when you speak on it, that's when your word gets a credibility. And that is your why behind joining that specific field, be it coding, be it networking, be it security, whichever field it is. If your why is clear, that why is going to flow through each and every action that you take, the thought that you have, and the words that you speak. Why now? Well, why now is quite clear. Why now? Because security is the need of the hour. And why you? So my friends, this is where we are going to spend the next few minutes in digging deeper into why you. So if I look at it, you can imagine an interview room, okay? Imagine a room which is filled with students of VIIT. Everyone has gone through the same subjects. Everyone is going to get the same degree. Everyone is coming with the same background as a fresher. In that case, why should a company go for you and not someone else? And don't tell me that it's because of the marks that you've got, which is a good thing. If you have gotten consistent marks and you have maintained that, it shows that you have the mettle and you have the potential to become a good professional. However, why are you wanting to join that particular field? That why should be clear. And that can only be shown with your actions. So when I was in college back in 2003 to 2007, I would say that you get all these posters, right? You have these posters of Cummins College arranging some paper presentation competition, VIIT having some or the other fest all the time. How many of you have contested in that specific contest? How many of you have created a PowerPoint presentation and presented in front of a crowd? I would say that my journey and my habits of researching a topic, my ability to create a PowerPoint presentation, it was not developed when I joined a company. It was developed when I was preparing for these PowerPoint presentations. In 2004, I had done a presentation on IPv6. And that one presentation, I was routing it through multiple different colleges just to see how it comes out. And you know what, when I joined the company and I was supporting a firewall device at the time, that device did have an IPv6 setting in there. And when we had to explain that setting, my presentation from 2003 helping me out in 2008, explaining to a customer why IPv6 is important. That's how it works. So what you do in your college, because my friends, believe it or not, we all have a lot of free time on our hands sometimes. And one always has a choice. You can open up Netflix, you can binge watch Mirzapur, you can always go on YouTube and you can watch some of your favorite YouTuber versus TikTok kind of videos. On the contrary, you can also go to LinkedIn Learning and start learning about the topic in which you want to build your career. If you start to sharpen your axe from now when you are in college, by the time you are getting into the market, you'll be super duper strong to be able to handle any question that is thrown to you. So as I was saying, your credibility is built by what you do in the college apart from the curriculum that you're studying. Are you writing a blog? Are you following a specific YouTuber who is doing a lot of technical videos? Are you contesting in the presentation competitions that I was talking about? Did you know there is something called as a CTF? How many of you does someone know what is CTF? You can put it in the chat if you know. So how many of you have participated in a CTF? Yes, Atharva, capture the flag. So capture the flag is a contest where you are a part of a team, or you might be alone as well, and they will give you online challenges, and they will say, okay, I'm giving you a cryptographic code. Now you have to break that code. When you break that code, you go to the next level of the challenge, and you have captured one flag. When you go to the next level of the challenge, and now you have been given a username and a hash, and with the help of that hash, you have to figure out what's the password. That's your level 2 challenge. Level 3 challenge could be when you have done all this, they will give you a link which will be emailed to you. There is the tag of something new or innovative or creative. I am completely into that project. That's me. That makes me tick. For you as a professional, you as a student, what makes you tick? Why are you that you like one class more than the other? Is there a content in there? Is it the scope? What is it that you like it the most? What are you very good at? I think these are some of the questions. And if you have the answer as no to each and every questions of these, it's okay. It is perfectly fine, because you're not going to jump into the industry tomorrow. You still have time. But to know what you need to know, that's also important, correct? And that's why you need to identify what is your niche. What is it that you enjoy the most? And if your answer is no to any of these questions, you can start building on it. When you go into the lab with your classmates, and you are doing a lab on, let's say, writing a C++ program, and I remember we had to draw some picture with a C++ program and many more things happening in that picture. To be honest with you, I did not enjoy that. I found it really boring because coding was not for me. However, when we went to the networking lab, and now we had to set up a network of 5 computers, we had to ping these computers, we had to create a map of these computers, I was really interested in that. So with the help of these lab exercises, you need to find out what motivates you the most. And that is where you need to dig deeper. Because in today's world, if you look at any job description, they will expect you to know everything. However, if you know that one thing in depth, that matters as well. So going back to the slides again, what makes you tick? That question is really important. How many of you know what this is? Put it in the chat. You know this? Okay, Aniket says he knows this. Cool. So my friends, you do have to make a choice. Will you take the red pill or the blue? Yes, different pills and the 2 paths. Blue team versus red team. Aniket, good answer. Very innovative. Blue team versus red team. Yes. This is from Matrix, where Neo was given a choice. You take the blue pill and you go back to the Matrix, go back to sleep. Take the red pill and you come out of the Matrix and you free others. Similarly, in security as well, there is a reason I have shown this picture here. And the reason is your intent behind getting into the field should be so strong that even though you are working in the networking field, you are working in the security field, you like your job, but someone offers you a software testing job with double the pay, and you would still say, no, I don't think so, because the pay is good. And believe me, when you start growing and if you are really good at what you do, you will make money. So don't think about what kind of package will I have? Will I get placed? What would happen to me 5 years later? If you work on your skills, those skills will take you the far distance. And I read a very interesting quote the other day. And the quote is, if you want to take the island, burn the boat. I repeat, if you want to take the island, burn the boat. And here the boat is a plan B. There should not be a plan B. If you have decided you are going to get into security, you get into that, you jump in with both feet and you start working on it. And when you're searching for a job, that could also be your criteria as well, which is why when you are making a choice, you need to stick to that choice. Now let's look at what do you need as a security professional. So what you need as a security professional is, number one, you should know networking really well. You should know the basics of TCP/IP. You should know the operating systems very well. And the basics, I remember Atul Kahate was our textbook in 2007. What is the current textbook that you guys are using for the information security or a cybersecurity course? I would really like to know. Please put that into the chat as well. What is your textbook for security? I remember Tannenbaum used to be a big book, but the language in that book was so beautiful that even more than the textbook, the Tannenbaum used to be a really good book to read, especially when it comes to security or networking at that point. So what you need is basics of programming as well. Python, to be honest, has been used extensively in the security world because we are no longer in the world of man versus attackers or man versus robots. Today, we are in the world of robots versus robots. So automation is the key. So even if you develop automation as your skill from now on, that one single skill will help you in whichever field you go, because everyone wants to automate things. So what you need is a little bit of Python or Java or any other programming language, but don't do it to mark a tick in the box. Don't do it because you have it in your curriculum. Have it because you really want to be the Gunda in that Java. You want to be the big boss of Python. Do it with that passion. Do it with arrogance, I would say. Don't do it for compliance. What else do you see? What else do you need? What you need is basics of networking, basics of operating systems. And why is this helpful? I'll tell you why. If you're doing a port scan on a server and you find out that port 22 is open, what can you do with that? If you don't know how the operating system works, how will you elevate your privilege from an outside user to an inside authenticated user? That is where your in-depth understanding of the operating systems is very important. So these are some of the basic things that you need. Now we look at some of the career options. This is a mega thing. Now we are looking at the cybersecurity domains. And as I had said earlier, there are two different types of domains when it comes to security, two different types of mindset. You have a defensive mindset and you have an offensive mindset. So in cybersecurity, you have threat intelligence, where in the threat intelligence world, what you do is you are very good at researching. You go on the internet, you have created your own spiders, and these spiders created in Python or any other language will keep crawling the internet, asking information, crawling information, identifying the new vulnerabilities and bring it back to you. And then you will feed that information to your security team. So now you know that most of the attacks nowadays are happening on the port 3389, which is RDP. So have we closed RDP? That's what I do in my job. When I'm working as a senior manager information security, I need to be proactive, where I look at the internet all the time. I keep my sources updated. And the moment I come to know about new vulnerability, the first question I ask myself is my network vulnerable to this? I don't know. How do I find out? Okay, let's do a scan. Okay, our network is vulnerable to this. What is the level of risk? This is where the risk management comes into picture. Why is it important? Because if you only have blogging servers, which are read-only servers, they are vulnerable to this issue. It's a less risk. But if you have sensitive servers saving your credit card information, personally identifiable information, PII, and they are vulnerable to this same issue, the risk is tenfold, which is why risk analysis is very important. As you can see in this mind map, risk assessment has its own entire tree. You can do vulnerability scanning, you can do source code. All of these are fields in themselves. When it comes to the security architecture, that's also a different field in itself. Because if you have to find somebody who is very good at access control, how will you set up an access control? Where will you enable that access control? Will you do it from the coding level itself, or will you handle it at the Active Directory level? When it comes to the security operations or a SecOp, so each and every company has SecOps as a team, and that team's job is to monitor network. That team's job is to monitor the incoming traffic. if there is any incoming attack going on, that attack has to be stopped. And not just that, there's also a possibility of you giving trainings as well. So now let me talk about a few career opportunities here. And I hope you are all listening. So once you are done with your college and you are getting into the field of cybersecurity, you can start in the field of technical support, but technical support of security products. That's where I started. I started my journey as a security technical support analyst for SonicWall. That's a hardware firewall vendor. After which I worked for 4 years as a technical support engineer in Symantec. This is where I learned the basics of operating systems, networking, and antivirus management as well. Because when a virus is attaching itself to the operating system, it's going to make a lot of system level calls. How do you intercept these calls? How do you intercept the traffic? Pick out with the help of a Wireshark tool. And then using the packet capture and packet analysis tools, how do you come up with signatures? And when you've got the signature, you have 50,000 machines who are going to receive the signature. How are you going to distribute a small little signature to 50,000 machines? This is planning your response to a threat of malware. And this is one aspect of security, which is technical support. Another aspect is coding or development. This is where you can be a secure developer. You can go to LinkedIn Learning and you can do a course there. There is one course that I would like to really recommend everyone, and that course is one second. Yes, that course is Security Plus. This guy is Mike Chappell. Mike Chappell is a legend when it comes to security trainings. He has delivered numerous trainings. And why am I recommending you to you this specific course? Number one, it's free. Number two, it's available in LinkedIn. Number three, when you complete this course, you can add this course in your LinkedIn profile. And why is that important? It's important because when someone is coming to your profile and they see that you have done Security Plus training, it certifies that you have basic understanding of how security, the world of security operates. How many of you here are not on LinkedIn? Just say me in the chat window if you are not on LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn, my friend, is also a crucial tool to have in your professional career. In my last 13 years of experience, I have found 5 jobs through LinkedIn. And the most recent one is where when I started my journey back in 2007, that's a different story as well. And the story goes like this. I was not getting placed. My percentages were good. I was going to each and every placement that was happening in VIIT at that time. And there were many placements that happened at VIIT campus as well. I was sitting for each of these, but I was not able to crack the CAT. I was not able to crack the initial exam that they take. So I started finding jobs myself. And on my own, as I was searching, I came across a profile for technical support. I went ahead, interviewed, and I got the job. And now they said, hey, we are setting up our new office here. We are looking for at least 10 to 15 more people. And thank you, Amit. I will post the link for these courses here. So I said, hey, I have a lot of my friends who are still looking for profiles. So why don't you come here? So the company said, okay. So I connected them with ASK sir. I'm sure you know that the Kulkarni sir I'm talking about. And Kulkarni sir facilitated the whole thing. The company came in on the day of the placement. There was one person who was supposed to come from the company and take that initial exam. He didn't come. So I got a call from the director, the HR director, and says, why don't you take that interview? So now I was there in the college distributing sheets to my own friends. They were all giving the sheets. We had a final list of 7 people. Those 7 people went to the office and 5 of them got selected. One of them was Vikas Jain. So Vikas, me, there was Hemant, all of us, I think Hemant delivered a session last week, right? So me and Hemant started our journey together. Now, Vikas and I worked together and we separated our ways in 2008 when he went to Bangalore with the company. In 2020, when I saw an opportunity I was interested in, I found that my buddy Vikas is working in the company. I called him up, he referred me, and now I'm working with him as a colleague. So classmates to colleagues again. So that brings me to a very important point, my friends. And the point is, your network is your net worth. Let me repeat. Your network is your net worth. Everyone that you are studying with in your college right now, remember, they're all going to be professionals. Your professors, your seniors, your mentors, our VIIT alumni is doing such a brilliant job in connecting our alumni with the students. Hemant, as in Hemant Dusane, yes, he's also in cybersecurity startup in Pune. So Hemant is also someone, Hemant, me, Vikas, all of us decided we are going to do careers in cybersecurity. All of us have stuck with our choice. And 13 years later, today, all of us are still working in cybersecurity. So my friends, network is your net worth. With that thought, I'm going to go back. I worked with him in Osaka. Yes, he's a great fellow. Okay, so the two tools in this screenshot, number one is Mike Chappell's course. Number two is LinkedIn Learning. LinkedIn Learning offers free courses. You can literally learn anything you want. I am doing a side course on Adobe Photoshop just for the heck of it. And I'm going to add that to my profile as well. So all of these tools will help you in getting yourself better in your profile. Now, this is where the dollar value comes into picture. You know, a lot of you must be having that thought, hey, I want to be a hacker one day. I still receive calls from some of the students saying that, sir, how can I become a hacker? Let me tell you, there is nothing called as a hacker. Hacker is a glorified term for a pen tester. The technical term, the right term, and the most important and the most relevant term is penetration tester, a blue teamer or a red teamer as well, as it was mentioned earlier by Anived in the chat. Now, these are the people who find flaws in these softwares. Did you know Facebook has a budget of more than $1 million just for bug bounties? And what is a bug bounty? Bug bounty is where any student from VIIT can start searching, can start learning first, then start using these tools and use them in such a way that you are into the offensive mindset. You find a flaw and then you report this flaw to the company. The company will say, you're right, the flaw is there, and which is why I'm going to pay you $5,000. I'm going to pay you $1,000. The minimum that I have seen is at least $100. If not, you will receive goodies like t-shirts and all that. But more importantly, you will get your name into the Hall of Fame of that company. Every company who has a bug bounty has a page called as Hall of Fame. And on the Hall of Fame, whoever has contributed in making it secure, their name will be shown over there. So how can you learn bug bounty? How can you be a bug bounty hunter as well? I'll give you a few people's name. Again, I'm not endorsing any companies. I'm just sharing my research with you. There is one person called as Vikas Chaudhary. I'll put his name as well. Vikas Chaudhary, he does trainings for students on bug bounty. There's another person called as Vivek Ramchandran. He also has online courses on bug bounty. So bug bounty is also a good career. And bug bounty is where you are finding flaws and earning money. In a company, every company is looking for pen testers as well. And what do these pen testers do? You will have all the tools in the world with financial backing from the company, and you have to hack into your own software. You have to find the flaws before the security or before any bug bounty hunter does. You have to find the flaw. Let's say, and what does a flaw look like? I'll give you an example. Let's say we have flipkart.com And in Flipkart.com, you are adding a lot of things to your cart. Your total value or your total payable amount, that is, let's say, 15,000 rupees. However, because you found a flaw in their software, you change the value when it is being sent to the server. You change it from 15,000 to 150. The server accepts the value and sends you a payment link. Now you're paying 150 rupees to receive merchandise of worth 15,000 rupees. That's right. Now that is a severe flaw. Don't you think that Flipkart.com will not pay you a good amount for this? They will. And that is why this is also one of the streams into cybersecurity. Apart from this, what else do you have? You have malware analysts. This is another profession. I know we are going really close to the time. It's already 1:45. So if you have any questions, you can start pouring them in. In another 5 minutes, I'm going to jump into the Q&A session. So as I was saying, different streams of cybersecurity. Stream 1, I spoke about technical support. Stream 2, software developer. Stream 3, bug bounty hunter. Stream 4 could be a security analyst or a SOC analyst. SOC is nothing but Security Operations Center, SOC. And every SOC needs an analyst. That analyst is the one who will receive the alerts, investigate, and then take an action on it. If you want to take a entry into the security field, SOC analyst is also a very good way to do it. Now, there is one common question that you may be answering, you might be asking, and the question is, what kind of certifications should I do? So there are lots of certifications. However, as I said earlier, everything that you do should be in sync with the goal that you have. If you have a goal of becoming a secure software developer because you are too good in developing, you are the Gunda of development. If you want to become a secure software developer, then would you do a networking certification? You wouldn't, right? What courses are the website to learn the courses with certifications? Yes, the certifications and the courses. Let me talk about that as well for a while. For that, I need to go back to my presentation. So these are the tools and challenges. Certifications are really good. Okay, here are some of the certifications that I have taken out for you. There are two types of certifications when it comes to any field. There is a vendor specific certification and there is a vendor neutral certification. A vendor specific certification, it can be like Microsoft Certified Professional, MCP. And what does it do? It certifies that you are really good in handling Microsoft servers. Juniper, you have Cisco. All of these have their own certifications as well. So if you are working on Cisco, makes sense to go for the CCNA. And even without that, CCNA is a good certification for networking as a career. That is if you want to go into the computer networking as a field. If you want to get into bug bounty as a field, or if you want to get into the hacking as a field, penetration testing as a field, that's where the certified ethical hacker comes into picture. This is also where you can go for Security Plus as a baseline. Security Plus is a very good certification and I vouch for it. The reason being, it really clarifies your doubts, your basics in all the spectrum of security. Then you have secure coding certifications as well from multiple vendors. I believe that ISC2, which is the ISC2 has CISSP as a certification. CISSP is a certification, you can do it as a student, but you need 5 years of experience to receive the official certificate. But you know what? CISSP adds a lot of weight to your words. If there is someone, I'm looking at 5 CVs right now, and I'm doing this all the time in my current role. If I'm looking at 5 CVs, but one of those resumes has CISSP, I'm going to interview that person first. Why? Because I know that he has spent numerous amount of hours getting that certification. So there is a higher probability that that person would know more things. Then you also have GIAC. I would say GIAC is really a gold standard. And in this case, gold standard is not an analogy. It is as costly as gold. And but there is a validation there that GISE certifications are really tough to crack. They are very costly, minimum 2.5 lakh rupees for a beginner level certification. So wherever you're joining in a company, if the company can sponsor it, that's the best way to go for it. Okay, so there was one question about the certifications and where we can get them. So definitely, I think I answered that one. For the secure coding, you have the secure coding certifications. You have CCNA, you have CEH, you have CISSP certification as well. Security Plus is again a vendor neutral certification. Go for any of these. And if you are stepping into the market with an actual certification, that's the best way to go for it. Now, there's one more hoax about here. The hoax is there are many companies who will give you training, and in that training, they will say, we will give you a certificate on our own, and it is as good as the actual certification. Do not listen to them. You go for the training, but you give the actual exam from the brand and you get that branded certificate with you. That branded certificate, that's the one which has more value in it. So with that, I think we have really, we have run out of time, but we have a lot of questions coming in. So let's get into the question and answer session. For this, I would rely upon my friend Ronak here. So if you can facilitate that and let me know what all questions are coming in.
Great. That was an amazing session, Aniket. I think by far one of the best ones we've had, not just on the topic, but overall how you presented it, introduced the topic, and okay, let's resume that.
Yeah.
Not sure why. Okay, so thank you so much for that. Let's now take some questions. I am going to disable the chat for the moment and completely rely on the Q&A feature. Everyone, please use the Q&A feature to ask questions. I see them coming in. Let's begin. So first question from Amit Kumar, top institute of cybersecurity in India or organization which can provide real-time analysis and good certificate.
See, don't go for India or outside India. Anyway, because of the lockdown, we are all relying upon the online tools. So I believe that it doesn't matter which institute, identify your goal. And in everything that you do should be in sync with that goal. So in sync with your goal, what kind of certification is there, you can go for that certification. And when it comes to which institute, there is a, so I'm doing trainings for Stanford courses in great learning. So I believe great learning is pretty good. Apart from that, I have relied a lot on LinkedIn Learning, and Vivek Ramachandran I spoke about. He has a pretty good course as well online. LinkedIn, you can check out Vivek Ramachandran. He has some good courses. And yesterday I was going through all of his courses because for this 40-minute session, I have studied 2 hours. And that sentence I used to hear a lot from our professors when they used to teach us in college. But today, as I'm delivering the session, I understand the depth and the meaning of that sentence.
This question is from Sahil Gupta. Sir, is network and security and cybersecurity the same field?
No, it's not. It's like cybersecurity is the world of doctors, out of which orthopedic doctors are one doctors. So network security is one branch of cybersecurity.
This question is from Anivet. Sir, are there any jobs offered by NSA or maybe an internship?
Well, NSA does offer jobs and internships. However, looking at the current geopolitical situation, that aspiration is good to have. However, you should look for internships for sure. People are always looking for good interns. And I'll tell you my current example in my company and in my previous company, Make My Trip. We had some interns from colleges, but as the colleges, the college students proved their mettle, and those students have so much of fire in them that they were outsmarting and they were outperforming many of the professionals, that the leadership in both the companies have decided to retain those freshers, and they have been given good positions in our companies. So internships is one of the best ways of cracking a job that you like and that you want.
Next question is from Kunal Patel. If someone is to buy premium of any website or app, and if we are able to bypass the payment method, so we can call it a bug, because my friend is doing this for big brands like Spotify.
There is two types of things here. There is black hat hackers and there's white hat hackers. And every company every company should run a bug bounty program. So if there is a company where you have been able to bypass their payment mechanism, in that case, pick up as much of proof as you can, packet capture, HTTP captures from the browser, screenshots, and present that to them, their bug bounty program. That way you will get Hall of Fame and money. If they do not have a bug bounty program at the moment, find out who is their CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. Find him on LinkedIn, ping him all these details, you get the attention.
The next question is from Amit Kumar. Suppose I want to enter into cybersecurity in either government organization or something in an entry level position, what kind of certificate would be good?
Well, in a government company, I would say any government organization, they are going to look at your marks, they are going to look at your curriculum, the college, and the third thing they will look at is your current certifications and what have you done apart from the college. If you have been a part of these capture the flag contests, if you have been doing all of your extracurricular activities, if they are able to set you up as a successful or a skilled professional, that would get you an entry. So work on your profile.
Ari says, tell some websites to learn these courses freely online, sir.
I believe Udemy has pretty good courses. They are not free, but they are not as costly as others as well. It's like you getting a good course on security in like 300 or 400 rupees, which is as good as your movie ticket or your 1 month Netflix subscription. So just like you have an entertainment budget, have a training budget as well, and get these courses. When it comes to the free training resources, apart from LinkedIn Learning, there is something called as a Brightcove, BRIGHTCOVE. Brightcove, listen to them. There is something called as Recorded Future. They are into threat intelligence. Listen to their podcast. Podcasts, that's the one. That's the one that you want to do. There is a podcast called as SANS Internet Center, SANS Storm Center. I'll post the link in the chat box while I'm answering the next question. I would really, and one more time, really recommend everyone to listen to these podcasts every day, because they're literally telling you what happened in the field of cybersecurity yesterday. It's a daily podcast, and the guys in SANS have like a global visibility of the entire world, and they will tell you what kind of attacks are happening. That will tell you what to read. So the name is Stormcast from SANS. I'll post the link. Go ahead to the next question.
Next question is from Shubham Patil. What is your domain in cybersecurity and why did you choose that? And can you switch in between?
Sure. My domain in cybersecurity is InfoSec. And InfoSec domain means information security. And what it means is my scope involves data security, network security, software security, overall security posture of a company. That is my role. And when I started, my role was specific to network security. That is when I was in SonicWall. Then my role got into operating system security as well as malware domain, anti-malware as a domain. That is when I was in Symantec. When I joined Microsoft, over there, I was looking at their information security, firewalls, and forensics. Forensics is another great domain as well. You don't get a lot of skilled forensic professionals here. So that is also where the company that has CEH as a certification, the same company has certified CISO, same company has certified, the EC Council has certified forensic analysts. All of these certifications are also there over there.
This question is from Samyak Jain. How to get an internship in the field of cybersecurity so we can get more idea of the field and explore it?
Okay, good question. I want to share my screen for that. Okay, let's go here. I know we are going a little bit beyond the time, but I hope I'm able to answer all the questions. Okay, so I'm in LinkedIn, and here if I say internship, and I'm looking for security, once I've done that, you don't go for the job section here, you go for the content. When you go for content, you will find that there are a lot of people offering internships. And what you have to do next is contact the person, tell them that you saw this post that they had done, and you would like to go ahead for or apply for the internship. That can really open up doors for you. Another good example I would like to give is hashtags. You can go to LinkedIn and use the hashtags called as internship, and that would also open up many doors for you. That one single hashtag, you can already see Xiaomi is looking for interns. Hashtags is the answer to that question.
The next question is from Punyaja Biraji. Does being in cybersecurity cell of our college help in securing a job in cybersecurity industry?
Does being in a cybersecurity cell of college?
Cyber cell of our college.
Okay. See, the thing is, being a member of the cyber cell is a designation. But if you are able to elaborate what did you do when you were a part of the cyber cell, that's important, and that will help you. It's a good thing that you have that you can put on your CV, but it's as good as the words that you choose and the way you explain yourself when you're sitting in front of the interviewer and explaining what did you do when you were a part of the cyber cell.
Awesome. So with that, we've finished our quota of questions. There are no more questions. Thank you for spending the time to answer every question.
Sure. Back in the day when I was in the college, when the lecturers used to ask us questions, we used to cringe. Oh my God, they're asking questions to everyone. And now here we are, hungry for more questions. So definitely things change.
With that, I'd like to invite Professor Subhash sir to give the vote of thanks.
I would like to know if Pathak sir is in the crowd. I could not see him.
Thank you, Ronak sir. Thank you, Aniket, so much for your wonderful session and your enthusiasm. And I hope the participant will understand all the processes of the cybersecurities and opportunities of the cybersecurities. You answered very well all the questions of the participants. Thank you so much. On behalf of VIIT Alumni Association.
Thank you. I really thank the college for inviting me here.
I'm very much thankful to all the participants for attending this session, and I'm very much thankful for your technical support. Thank you so much, Aniket.
Great to be here. But before we close, I would really like to thank Pathak sir. Thank you for being here, and thank you for inspiring me to take up security as a profession.
Awesome. I hope Professor Pathak does get this message, if not at least in the recorded, if he's not here live. Thank you, Aniket. With that, I shall now end the session.
Sure. Aniket, I will convey your regards to the Pathak sir. I will convey your regards to the Pathak sir.
Please do.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining, everyone.